Hey everybody, this is Lizzie Hale.
What's up, everybody? This is RJ Hale from the band Hailstorm, and I think something smells fishy.
You were listening to My Man Fish right here on Music City Metal.
What's up? This is Ryan Lassard from Chemical Rose, and you're listening to Music City Metal.
You're listening to Music City Metal.
You are about to enter the Electric Fish Bowl with DJ Fish. We are metal. We are family.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Music City Metal. Great show for you tonight. We are going to open it up with a band called Meditator. Got a chance to hang out with them and several other bands at the Cobra last night, January 29th, 2020. And let me tell you, that show last night was exceptional. They had some stiff competition. Adelita's Way was in Clarksville. Tool was at the Bridgestone Arena just down the road. But we had, I would say, a full house. It was great. Chemical Rose was first. They warmed up the crowd very, very nicely with a phenomenal show. Second band, a band called Fourth and Church. You would never have known it was their first event ever. I actually coined the term soul metal while I was listening to that last night. I don't know if it's a thing or not. That's what it said to me. Fourth and Church. I am going to post a clip of what I recorded with Fourth and Church on my Facebook and Instagram page. Doesn't do them justice, recording on an iPhone. It'll give you the idea of where they are coming from. And then, of course, my brothers, my friends, Crusade, killed it last night. They are just getting better every single show. Kudos to my brother Steve Casto doing the windmill with a pinched nerve in his neck. Then, of course, we wrapped it up with Meditator. Got to hang out with James and the boys for a bit out back, as you're about to hear. And James, hope you had a great birthday. Rock on. So let's just dive right in. We are going to play In Heartache's Wake by Meditator, and then stay tuned after that, a full episode with Chemical Rose on location at the rehearsal studio in the Borough in Middle Tennessee. So here we go. Let's launch off some Music City Metal with Meditator.
Hi, this is Nick Elder.
This is James.
This is Tony.
This is Josh.
Gregory. And you're listening to Music City Metal.
We're meditating.
Eyes open to another day.
Coming Monday, February 3rd, 2020, Sanctuary International launches our new metal shop with all proceeds to benefit the Sanctuary Homeless Refuge. Visit sanctuaryinternational.com/merch and order your coffee combo featuring Headbangers Brew, an intense way to start your day with PB&J. Pastor Bob and Java, that is. Visit sanctuaryinternational.com/merch.
Music City Metal, Fish taking the Fishbowl mobile. Listen to a great rehearsal for tomorrow night's show with Chemical Rose. This is really cool to get out of my studio and come out and sit in on a band rehearsal. Welcome Chemical Rose. Let's go around and say hello. We'll start with you, Jay.
Hello.
Introduce yourself. And
I'm Jay.
You like long walks on the beach? Yeah.
Sex on the beach. The sandwich. Not the sandwich.
Not the sandwich.
The drink.
You gotta give me that recipe.
I'm thinking
know that sandwich.
I'm just like sandwich.
Lots of energy here in this place tonight. Chemical Rose playing a show. Well, by the time you guys are hearing this, the show will have taken place. Are you guys feel show ready?
Why'd you miss it?
To the people who are listening. Yeah. Feel bad.
Yeah, why were you not there?
Yeah, why were you not there? All right,
I
sorry.
wanted my hug.
Go ahead, Jay, introduce yourself, and let's go, we'll say clockwise here.
Well, I'm Jay, and I like long walks on the beach.
I'm Ryan, and I don't do the long walks on the beach thing.
No, but you do sing.
Yes, I do.
You do sing.
I'm Trey, and I like to stroll through the park.
I'm
In a
Alex,
stroller because you're so
and,
short.
I like to play the drums. So I do.
Oh, you bang on them suckers too, man.
Stroller while you're in a stroller while you're being pushed in a stroller.
Chemical Rose on Music City Metal this week. So you guys feel show ready? Honestly, whoever wants.
Don't ask me that.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll be the positive one of the
Okay.
We've been trying, especially with this show coming up, it's when you get to these places, you don't want to like overwork yourself. I feel like we were just talking about at the other rehearsal where it's like you play a rehearsal like day of show or the night before or something like that, and the rehearsal goes so great and everybody's just like, yeah, that was awesome, and then you get to the show and it's just
Train wreck.
terrible.
So tomorrow night is how many will be your what show? How many?
Our second
show.
Right. Officially, yes.
Yes, officially our second.
We had to cancel one. That was like the.
Yeah,
that was crappy.
That's only like that's the second show I've had to cancel in my life.
That happens.
We didn't cancel. We just rescheduled, right?
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Call it what you want.
Okay. Yes. Again, I'm going to be the positive one in the band.
This
so
is
yeah.
true. That's your job.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was
It's official now.
doing math. I thought that was my job.
With an E or an A?
With an A.
Okay.
So Alex, we'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about Chemical Rose and what drew you to the other three here, how you guys met. I know we've had Ryan on the show. We've had Brian Fairchild. He's kind of off to the side. Hey, how you doing, brother? You back there? Yeah.
Brian, are you okay?
We had Chemical Rose on the show, the pre-booth show. I think that's the show you're talking about that had to cancel. Yeah. Life happens. Yeah. It happens, but you got one tomorrow night.
Brushed against his wife.
You want to give a little band history, or
at least for me, I met Jay through another project, and he just we seemed to click. And he told me about Ryan, that he knew Ryan from a previous project, and just kind of thought about two previous projects, what it would sound like to bring those people together and the sound that we wanted to go for, and then Trey entered the fold not too long after that, and it just kind of seemed to be the right pieces at the right time. And I remember putting what we have recorded together happened pretty quick, like a month, 6 weeks tops.
Are you talking about
Something
writing
like
having
that.
everything
songs?
written and done? I mean, it happened really fast.
1 week to record, and then like 2 weeks waiting on everything to get
Right,
back.
so like a month, like pretty much everything was like, and we had, there were a couple that had been in the tank from other projects that we had kind of changed.
2 of them,
and then, but the rest of them that we just, and it just continued from there. There's going to be stuff at the show on the 29th that
You're
people
not
are
gonna
going to hear
hear
for the first that you haven't heard.
you haven't heard.
Feel bad about, but so it just kind of all seemed to fall together really quickly, and we just rolled with it.
Yeah.
The positive voice, the sarcastic voice.
Yeah, that's the balance of
The
Chemical
quiet
Rose.
voice.
The balance.
Yeah.
The stage voice.
There you go.
So,
We're an episode of the.
who wants to tell me about the name of the band? Where that stemmed from? You want to do that,
Okay.
Ryan? I think
That was a
that's
combination.
Ryan's
When
department,
we-
isn't it?
Oh man.
Or
I'll
Jay, go
start
ahead.
the
You go,
story
Jay.
with
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some weird names.
Well, basically,
to go over
when
that.
I was like getting kind of not burned out on the other project, but there was a lot there that I was just like, this is causing me more drama than anything else. And I called Ryan up, and he's working security when I called him, I think. And I was just like, hey, man, what are you doing? Hey, meet me at the band room at this time. We're going to come up with a band name in 30 minutes. Completely spontaneous. We show up here, we pull out the books, and I'm like, we're writing these down. We're not going to put them in our notes and our phones and stuff like that. And I was trying to think of some serious names,
we
and
made
you
30 minutes.
leave Brittany. I left Brittany alone.
I left Brittany alone was the name I came. Jeez,
I left
there was
Brittany
so
I'll let
many.
you finish this. 'Cause
There was a lot of names that we threw out there. He was taking his time to write down like really serious names, and I wrote literally anything that came into my head.
What's the thing about mammoths?
Sometimes that's the way to go.
No, I had written down rhinos or unicorns too.
Yeah.
And I think I also predetermined masturbation was another one.
Ooh,
That
makes it sound like a
interesting.
crime.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
It's a felony in 3 states.
How it all came together is he wrote a name down that was called Amber Rose, and I wrote a name down called Chemical Ego, and it basically just kind of
We thought they were both stupid, and we took them both and
we put them together, and we were like, but it was still a tie. We had to debate whether we wanted I Left Brittany Alone
It was 30 minutes writing the names.
or
and then-
Chemical Rose.
And then 30 minutes
Yeah.
kind of ciphering over like 3 or 4 of them.
going and
Ciphering.
making
There's a
sure
new
that
one.
the domain is available too. That's like a big thing nowadays, right?
Well, the whole goal behind
Like,
it
you know,
was
your whole-
we wanted to, because he said, he was like, we do our best stuff spontaneously, so let's just do spontaneous names. So that's what I did, and we came together with Chemical Rose, because we did have a long debate over whether we wanted Chemical Rose or I Left Brittany Alone. We were like, do we want a joke name, or do we want to like...
Well, joke name
that's
came
when-
with joke
well, that's the
titles,
thing.
but
Yeah.
serious songs.
At that point in the conversation, it became this is a band thing now. What do we want to be known
Yeah.
as? Do we want to be something that's a little more?
Sellable?
No, I wasn't gonna go there. I was gonna say because there are not maybe necessarily from a strictly commercial standpoint, but there are people out there with funny names that are able to make
Oh,
it
yeah.
work. But you kind of have to sell a certain image when you have a funny name, And it was like, is that the kind of image that? Because
We were
again,
all
the
gonna wear
music was
Chris
already
Crocker
done.
t-shirts.
Is that the image that the music promotes? And it's like, no, I mean, speaking me personally, it was no debate. It was, we're going to be Chemical Rose. Not that there's nothing wrong with I Left Brittany Alone, but there are just so many images that come with that name. and choosing to use that name, I was like, no, let's go with Chemical Rose, guys. That's
I
the
mean,
way.
it also came down to Google friendly.
Yes,
Like,
yeah. Names.
true.
I mean,
so I mean,
Right.
you have to think about the digital world now.
like if we
when it
would have
comes
typed
to
in
names.
I Left
Yeah.
Brittany Alone, it would have been 500 pages of Chris
Yeah.
Crocker memes.
So Ryan, you're wearing a white coat. I watch you guys rehearse, kind of like a dress rehearsal.
Yes.
So, where did that, what you guys are going to present on stage come from with the white coats?
Well, I was recording my vocals when the idea came to be.
Idea.
I don't do math good or words.
I'm gonna take a quote.
But no, I was recording my vocals, and we were kind of tossing stage wear out, and I was like, well, Chemical Rose, why don't we wear lab coats? And he just kind of was like, you know what, that's not a bad idea. and we just kind of went with it. And I mean, we've had a few changes to the dress, but you know what? You'll have to come see us to figure it out.
There you go.
What a salesman right there,
If
right?
that's a censored moment.
You gotta finger it out.
I don't know if either of you remember this, and I don't want to speak out of both sides of my mouth here, but I feel like one of you two jokesters actually put it pretty eloquently a couple of months ago, where
It was probably me.
the whole, likely, but no offense. The whole idea behind the band is that we're trying to, in the lyrics and the music, talk about, or at least, confront some things that aren't always necessarily positive. Self-doubt,
Yeah, that was
depression,
anxiety,
brought up, I think, in the last interview.
and-
right.
Yeah.
And I feel like one thing that really spoke to me, and again, one of you said this, is that the lab coats kind of represent, like, we are the ones who are to make it better. The band, that is.
Yeah.
Like, we're the ones to,
I like that.
forgive
How
the
I
pun,
had put it,
to dish out the medicine, so to speak.
yeah, I was gonna say how I had put it was, we are the doctors prescribing you your medicine in the form of music.
There you go. That's the wordage.
That's interesting. Because I know when we did the show, the pre-booth show a couple months ago, we talked a little bit about the more serious side and things you want to address, like suicide. And we could talk about that if you'd like, or you want to expound on that, or not delve into that. However, you guys like.
It's more of, we want people to come out. We want them to talk to us because we want them to feel like they're not alone in whatever they're facing, because we've all faced anxiety or depression or some sort of mind phenomenon that makes you feel singled out. And
Sorry.
No.
That's a good way of
Until
explaining
about
it, though,
and 2 months ago, until Alex brought up, oh, you didn't know that? When I was like, hey, I think I figured out what's wrong with me, and he's like, you didn't know that?
Right.
I figured that out like the first month we were together. And I'm not going to get into all that because I don't want to revisit it, but I've struggled with severe suicidal depression my entire life. I've been hospitalized multiple times, multiple suicide attempts. And I finally pinpointed it, which no doctor did in from when I was like probably 10 to when I was 17, when I said these doctors aren't helping because all they were doing was feeding me more pills. And when it was finally time for me to pay for the medicine, I said no.
Yeah.
And just a lot of self-reflection and just taking myself out of everything, because I've told everybody here, including Brian, I'm not doing interviews.
Yeah.
So you get the exclusive here because I'm sticking with that. I'm not going to be really doing interviews. But, and Alex brought up, oh, well, hey, maybe it's this. And it just turned out I have an extreme case of I'm not going into it. But as of about 2 months ago before that, I mean, I was ready to just exit.
Yeah.
Family was worried, sick,
So
and just
the
other family.
Yeah,
So I mean,
of course,
I basically just took myself out of the picture and everything. I just exited everything, social media, people, and just basically cut everyone out. And then came up with with the show we talked about earlier. I don't know if I can
go for it, man. Yeah, you got a nice you have a YouTube channel. Yeah,
I'm the host
plug
for
it, man.
the new thing in the area, the Local Music Review, which is worldwide local unsigned bands. And I've met some amazing people and bands. My inbox is constantly flooded with, hey, check this band out or this band out. And it is completely just, since I'm that's my problem. I'm just going to deal with the fact that I have that. And it's completely turned it around. So with,
you
Ryan
take that
saying,
energy and pour it into music and reaching out and all that negative stuff that's going on in your old life. And I mean, I've been through some of that dark stuff too, brother.
It
I
sucks.
understand. But when you take that energy and pour it into music, lyrics, I've listened to you guys quite extensively, and it's a good thing when you do that. It's not going to make your situation worse, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean? And doing something, trying to flip, I don't know, the saying of making lemonade out of lemons, I mean, some of the best
ain't
music
making orange juice out of lemons.
that people wrote were some of the darkest, look at history of music, and great music comes out of depressed musicians. I mean, simply put.
Well, I'd like to think too that I think a part of what makes our band work is that it gives people a chance to kind of like not that you can't find ways to express these feelings, or artists who've expressed these feelings before, like you said, in art and history and everything. But it's also just like, I feel that there's still a certain sentiment, particularly I don't want to box it into the metal community, but more aggressive music, where it's like we can't talk about these things except in our lyrics. Yeah. It's like you could have a song about suicide, or Slayer going up there talking about Angels of Death or whatever, but it's like, if you as just a person want to talk about that stuff, you get into this place where it's like, oh, I've got to be a tough guy, or I've got to have this image of, I make aggressive music, therefore I'm an aggressive guy. And I just feel like, not that we go down that total sentimentality route, but of just like, it's okay, y'all. Like, if you feel this way, if you've felt this way, we feel this way too. And we want to, through what we do, let you have that outlet so that you can feel better about it.
Very well said, brother. Yeah. What do you say we play a tune here, huh?
He's really
let's play a tune. What are we going to play? You guys.
Oh,
that's very well said, Alex.
Trey, how are you over there?
Yeah, we're gonna get into you right now.
That interview.
We're gonna get into like musicianship. Yeah. What you guys, what influenced you individually as a band, like who your guitar idols are, who your drum idols are. But first, let's do a tune. Which one we doing, man?
Let's do Stepping Stones first.
Stepping Stone. Make sure you check out Chemical Rose. They're all over Facebook, all social media. And where is the music available? If they're not
listening. For now, you can get it on Bandcamp.
YouTube. Great place. YouTube. Well, there it is. Let's do a tune here. Music City Metal Fish with the mobile electric fish bowl. Here's some Chemical Rose.
When you fall
Stepping Stone, Music City Metal, the mobile electric fishbowl. Hey, coming up after this, Mary Fish, my better half, will have the NashvilleMarch.com rock and metal forecast for the last week into the first week of February. I can't believe it's February already. Right. Stay tuned for that. A little bit later at the end of the show, we're going to play Meditator and a couple other bands that we have.
Nice.
We're also going to sneak in some Crusade, too. Yeah. But for now, let's talk about guitar work, brother.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Because you've been
this
sitting there
is going to take a
smiling.
while.
Is it? Jay has exited the building.
He's gone.
I'm back again.
Who's right off the top of your head favorite guitar player?
Jerry Cantrell.
Jerry Cantrell.
I love you even more.
Wow.
In that direction.
That's great.
I love you even more.
Well, that's been my biggest influence of, starting guitar.
I wouldn't have guessed that when you come in here and get warmed up for practice.
Well, I mean, my preferences have shifted.
That's true. Like I always say when he comes to practice and he starts warming up, I can tell what he's been listening to that week.
That's fun.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
But who would be like classic rock guitarist your favorite?
If we're going to classic rock era, definitely would have been Slash.
Slash,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. When
That's how we found him, actually.
when you guys write together, do you start with a guitar part, or do you start with a how do you?
It's weird because sometimes I'll have something that we've just been noodling with when we're warming up, and then Trey's like starts playing this riff, and I'm like, "How do you play that?" He's like, "It's your rhythm." I'm like, "What's my rhythm?" That's happened. And is Fireline really the only one we've all wrote in the same room at the time?
Well,
Suffering was another one, and that stemmed from a guitar riff first, and then we just made it not Dream Theater and put it in 4/4. He says sorry.
My bad.
And it started with your riff, and then that one, we're still working on that one technically, because I don't think me and Trey are 100% with it.
Okay, if you say so. I think it's fine, but hey,
okay,
practice makes perfect,
then
right?
I'm cool
That's
with
what
it.
they say,
Okay, Trey's the only one that's not cool with it. But yeah, Suffering started with Trey's riff. Fireline started with my riff. So it just depends.
Yeah.
A lot of it ends up being collaborative, where it's, a riff will come from somewhere, or it's never happened specifically with the drum beat, but a lot of times I'll end up kind of being like the de facto arranger, where it's like, no, you need to go to this section here because of X, Y, Z. And so on.
Yeah, that happened in Suffering because I was like, I don't think this song's working. I don't like it. And then we played it, and you started going crash cymbal crazy, and that changed my feel on bass. Then it was like, wait a minute. And then we started adding more intricate rhythms that went along with the drums on the bass stuff. And I started really liking it because now it's grooving more and it feels more like what we do, because there's a lot of groove stuff in our songs while the guitars are going straight forward. So I'm a bass player that solely believes the bass needs to be with the drums and groove with the drums, regardless of, if it's with playing exactly what the guitar is playing. So,
absolutely. So I hear a lot of Korn influence. Who has the heavy Korn influence?
Well, I think all of us.
I mean,
mostly you.
When I was before we had a guitar player, and I guess I had to write everything to start with. My writing history. I mean, I guess this can just finish his guitar history, and that'll bring us.
Oh
back
yeah,
to that.
well, no, I mean that's good. I love digging in and getting to know like what made you want to be a musician.
What I was going to say
we got
is
a good
this
start.
whole band kind of came after me and Jay went to go see Korn and Alice in Chains.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really when this whole idea concept.
Hey, do you want to do something serious? Yes. 30 minutes later, next day, 30 minutes, write a name.
Well, we were out fishing and we were talking, and then
we fish.
I love fishing.
That
is my name.
We saw a show, and then at that show, the day after the Korn show, he was like, "I got an idea," and then we just went with it. And
here we are talking to you.
How many songs you guys have written now?
Shit.
10, 9.
Okay.
9,
you got?
10, 11.
I
It's
see
not.
some notes
It's
up there on the
9,
wall
10,
there.
11.
Well, if we count the ones we've never
Also-
even worked on,
Yeah,
it's,
I'm
it's,
also- yeah.
11.
Let's puff up our numbers here. 11.
12, including the acoustic track that I
Right,
still have
right.
trouble
Nice.
performing.
Wow, 12. Well, let's play another one. I think coming up after this
12
tune here by Chemical Rose, Mary Fish with the NashvilleMarch.com. Heavy rock and metal forecast for Nashville, Tennessee. In the meantime, here, check out some more Chemical Rose. Music City Metal. That was 312 by Chemical Rose. We're going to get back to our interview with them in just a minute, but in the meantime, let me send you over to my better half to let you know what's going on in Nashville, Tennessee, first week of February 2020.
Hey guys, it's Mary with your NashvilleMarch.com rock and metal forecast. We're going to go ahead and start on Thursday, January 30th, 2020. We're going to start at Rocketown with Convictions. They're going to play with Hollow Front, The Persuaded, Dusk Before Dawn, and We Are Victory. That's at 6 p.m. That is a full show there. If Rocketown is not your thing, you can head over to the Cannery Ballroom at 8 p.m. and Black Flag. Still hanging out, still rocking after all these years. That is also January 30th. And Friday, January 31st, Blast Beats at the Borough. Sponsored by yours truly, Music City Metal Podcast, The Booth, Nashville.com, and Fairchild Entertainment. That's featuring Sidewinder, Nocturnal Pulse, Daedalus, and The Eldritch Grimoire. That's at 8 p.m. It's only $5, so definitely come check it out. Come meet us all. Featuring also Sinfox Photography. So we talked to Jess a few days ago on the last episode, so come meet us all. We'd be thrilled to meet our fans. Then we're moving into Sunday, February 2nd. If you're bored with the Super Bowl because you missed Tom Brady, that's kind of too bad. But come on out to Dark Matter Collective and see Hard Reset. It's their EP release show with The Human Condition, Tell the Wolves I'm Home, Divisive, and Great Minds. Then on the 3rd, wow, February already, February 3rd, 2020, Loud Jams is at the High Watt at 8 p.m. Moving on to Tuesday, February 4th, Y&T is at Mercy Lounge. That's at 8 p.m. If you're still digging them, that's totally cool. Also on February 4th, True Villains with Denman at the end at 8 p.m. Wednesday, February 5th, The Addicts with Antagonizers and ATL. They'll be at the Basement East at 8 p.m. Also on the 5th, Toke with Friendship Commanders and Pamphlet. That's at Springwater at 9 p.m. Looks like we're skipping the 6th as far as the concert calendar goes, but February 7th, Friday, there is Globsters with Lip Engine 9. Lips Engine 9. Christian Girls, Black Market Kidney Surgeon. That's interesting. And Wolfworm. That'll be at Media Rerun at 6 p.m. Always remember Media Rerun. Those shows are early. That takes care of Friday. And then Saturday, February 8th, Alter Bridge with Clint Lowry and Deep Fall. That's at the War Memorial. That's at the Odd at 7:30. And a little bit earlier in that day, February the 8th, Spewfest 5 is at the Cobra at 3 p.m. So go ahead and check out NashvilleMarch.com for the complete calendar of events for the entire month. And we will check in with you guys soon. Rock on.
Alex, where would you like to see Chemical Rose in like 1 year from now?
Oh man,
what would make you happy?
Goal.
Goal. Do you guys have like a collective goal or anything?
Well, I mean, the goal is to just have this be it. I mean, it's no mystery that, when you're first starting out, it's like you want to try and dedicate as much of your time and passion as you can to your art, but, got to pay bills and this, that, and the other. So it's
live.
like, to me, the goal, at least at what we've talked about collectively, is just to get ourselves in a position where we can go, bye-bye job. We can just focus on being in a position where either it's on the road, which is where I would love to see us in a year.
Me too.
Opening for people, or potentially holding down, some local stuff too. It doesn't have to necessarily.
Weekend Warriors.
The nice thing about the industry as it stands today is that you really can. Even though it's not necessarily like the payola days where people can just, get that Hollywood dream and just hit it big. But it's like, there are people out there who just they just tour for a month and they make a decent buck and they get to share their art with people. Like, that's me, at least personally. Like, anything that gets me to, I teach as well as, perform. And it's like, because I want to be around the music all the time.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I'd go crazy. So
Right.
as much as we can make this band all the time, that's my goal.
Oh, that's it. What about you, Ryan?
A little further than that.
Hey, dream big. Dream
what
big,
he said,
man.
but more.
Yeah, basically, I want
Nothing wrong
I
with
want
dreaming
to
big.
see us not just talking about our inspirations, but playing on the same bill as our inspirations.
Oh, there you go.
Tours, what have you. I would like to see us being able to do this full time, whether it's like headlining like a smaller tour and then opening on bigger tours. I just want to be able to reach as many people as possible
Yeah.
with the message. So, yes, I believe to start locally would be great, but I'm talking about like helping what's local first,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then hopefully people sink what we're doing in
Yeah.
and realize that this is not a fight against each other for popularity, but this is a teamwork event. If you don't help anybody else out in this community, then how are you going to expect someone to help you out?
Yeah.
And so, as an artist inside this industry, especially in Nashville, I feel like it's very, very touch and go with who your friends are. And I want people to start realizing that it doesn't have to be that way and venture that further into other communities.
Yeah. I like it. You can always get on do the 4-hour loop out of Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Atlanta,
Oh yeah.
Birmingham,
We have-
Memphis, Louisville.
We're thinking about North
Florida
Carolina,
connections. We're trying to get down
Florida.
there. You know, we're not just, and especially because not for nothing is like I feel it's not obligation. That's the wrong word, but it's just like this overarching idea of like Nashville's more than country, man. You know?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like-
That's my slogan on Music
Right?
City Metal.
Right.
There's more to Nashville than country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel
There's a big scene emerging here.
it's not even just that. It's like I feel that Nashville's importance in terms of like just the industry and the history of the industry is like everybody looks to your Waylands and your Dollies and your la la la, but it's like this town is so much more than that.
Yes. And I think that's what is happening here that is getting discovered. I mean, if you look, when I first really started digging into the local scene about a year and a half ago, I mean, you go out and there'd be a dozen people at a show. I bet you tomorrow, I mean, you got some big competition tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tool's playing Nashville.
Who?
Who's that?
Who's that?
Some local band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Not with these guys.
You're seeing bigger crowds. You're seeing other bands. This is what I've noticed, especially in the last 7-8 months. Other bands are showing up to support other bands on their nights off.
They're starting to work together
Yes,
versus
yes,
competing. And
yes.
competing kills a music scene.
And
You'll never leave that down.
who is your favorite bass player?
Ryan Martini.
Ryan or Martini?
It's funny. I started playing bass and drums and guitar, and guitar is the only one I ever had an inspiration to play because of. I just played drums and bass out of necessity because there are none. And then, well, where I was from, there were none. I was in 6 bands when I was a drummer back up in Virginia just because there was none. And so, but as far as bass is
Ryan
concerned,
Martini.
I never had a
You don't hear that very
influence to
often.
play bass, but once I started playing and bass, I didn't really like it, and then I heard Ryan Martini, and I was like, "Do that in a metal band on bass?"
Yeah.
And you'd listen to my bass parts and
I
stuff,
was
and
just
it's
about to
very
say,
reminiscent.
You listen to
of
Jay's
Ryan
parts, and
Martini.
it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
can
can
hear
hear-
that now.
right.
Big
No,
time.
And Ryan has told me
too.
multiple times, yeah, so somebody their song, they say it sounds like Ryan Martini.
Yeah.
They usually say it's like Ryan Martini and Fieldy had a baby.
That's about it. Because I love that just groove and that rhythm that Fieldy brings to Korn,
Right.
and then that melodic and aggression that Ryan Martini
Right.
has.
Aggression is a good word.
And I mean that's why I play a thumb bass.
And now you have a Martini field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Alex?
I'm a Marfieldy.
Oh boy.
Put you on the spot. Favorite drummer? I know that's.
We're about to get
Right.
classic up in
Well,
here.
no, actually, because I was really thinking about it. Somebody asked me this question before, and the thing that I say about that is that I'm a student of the instrument. I studied jazz percussion in college. I've been playing since I was 3 or 4 years old, and so
Down the ways of Neil Peart, then.
Well,
yes.
I mean, he's
God
an
rest
influence
in
for
peace.
sure.
Yes.
But, Jay makes fun of me because I would be
'Cause he
lying
was
if I
jazz
didn't say I
influence, big
wasn't
time.
a Bonham kid. I was just one of those
wow.
kids that once that
So
swing track was
Bonham?
in there.
Bonham's-
Yeah, for this band though, I think my main influence that I pull from the most is John Dolmayan from System of a Down.
Oh, really?
Especially if you listen to my drum tone. I've got a really high crack snare, big open toms, big crashy cymbals. It's like
Big
when
crashy
those-
cymbals is an understatement. That's a
well,
22
yeah.
over there.
So like when those first 3 System albums came out, that was like the perfect time. It was like middle school for me, and I just gravitated towards that
Way to
drum
make me feel
sound,
old.
right? And so for this band, I definitely pull like the guys from Korn and everything. They definitely play an influence as well, but definitely John Dolmayan from System of a Down without
wow.
question.
All right. So you're the only one left, Ryan. Favorite singer, favorite vocalist.
Celine Dion.
Stumped him.
Oh, I stumped him.
Probably somewhere between Corey Taylor and Jonathan Davis.
Oh wow.
That's where I was gonna go.
That's probably
metal.
where I get a lot of this band's influence. Even the writing styles on some of them are very Jonathan Davis-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Oh yeah, that
Especially-
one track after we recorded it, I was like, dude, it sounds like the later Korn stuff.
Well, the,
and I was like,
Parasite.
Especially
yeah,
the
Parasite.
yeah,
that was the
yeah.
one
Parasite.
where that's the one where I fully connected. Wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
this sounds like something Korn would have written vocally, as far
Mm-hmm.
as the tones and rhythms that came out there. Which
Well,
brings me to that
and,
question you asked earlier: was the Korn sound that you guys have, and I just got
A
that.
lot of that. I mean, I drew that a lot from the bass riffs.
yeah.
Honestly,
A lot of
Yes, I
the
did.
just mute tapping,
Just very-
mute slapping and stuff
Right.
like that. But when I started writing, it was right around the. I heard Korn on their world debut before the album came out, watching Primus Picks on MTV2 at 3 o'clock in the morning at a sleepover during a locust infestation.
You get along well with Steve Casto.
And
Have you met Steve yet?
no, I haven't.
Oh yeah, you will tomorrow, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
But
you'll like his style as well.
But you can
Similar.
1,000% hear the new metal influence in this
Yeah,
band.
absolutely.
But
that
and
era.
that came out before I started writing, and I remember trying to learn the Korn album on guitar, and I was like, "This is exactly what's being played, but they're lower than me." And I was playing it on the 6th string, on the A string, and I was just like, "This ain't right." So I just gave up. And then that first Limp Bizkit album hit, and I was like, "That is so
Haven't heard that.
aggressive,
Haven't
but
heard that in a
groovy."
while.
And that's when I really started
Bizkit, yeah.
focusing on writing versus technique, and as far as Alex has gone with just mastering everything he wants to master. And I focused on writing and keeping it simple but groovy and heavy and powerful. And it was mainly that first Limp Bizkit album and those first 3 Korn albums. That's what I just swallowed as I was trying to learn how to write.
Groovy,
And
heavy, and aggressive.
And then you've got
That's pretty much caps it
Yeah.
off.
then you've got the reason I started playing guitar. There's a little bit of Nirvana thrown in there, because if it wasn't for Nirvana, I would have never picked up a guitar. I would have never even liked
that's
music.
interesting.
I hated music until I heard Nirvana. My freaking cousin's like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I was like, "What is this?" He's like, "It's Nirvana. It's this band from Seattle." And it was literally the Love Buzz single.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what he was playing me, because he was in Seattle
Wow.
and went to one of their shows and got that and played it for me, and I was instantly in love with it. In fact, I almost stole that from him. And it was the record, and I didn't have a record player.
It's a CD player.
Ew.
Well, let's do one more here from Chemical Rose. See how. We will see you guys tomorrow night at the Cobra, man. And thanks for inviting me into your house here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is the Hip Factory,
I was
man.
thrilled to get out.
The Hip Factory.
I had to get out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I had to
You
get
get to
out.
see the manic experience that is Tuesday night band rehearsal.
And the whole, we're laughing one second and then serious the next.
Yes.
Well, we will see you tomorrow night, man. We're going to wrap up this episode, and make sure you check out Chemical Rose see if you think that they're hard, aggressive, and groovy. What did you say? What was the word?
I think that was it.
That was it.
Hard, aggressive, and
Hard,
groovy.
aggressive, and groovy.
I'm going to combine those
Hard,
like
three
that.
simple,
words
aggressive,
and
and
make a
groovy.
word.
Those four, yeah.
Hard, aggressive.
Scroovy, yeah, there you go.
Scroovy?
Don't
Let's
be
scroovy.
afraid to reach out to us either, because
Yeah,
if
no,
you're dealing with
don't.
something,
Definitely.
hit us up.
You do give good bro hugs, man. You gave me a hug. I was having a bad night.
Well, we have our
I was having a rough night, and you just like, come here, man. You need a hug, dude.
You're going to give me a hug.
Ryan gives good
Ryan's
hugs.
a good guy.
That's it, man. All right. Fish, wrapping up another mobile episode. I love going mobile. This is great.
You're probably going to be doing this more, I'm assuming.
More and more,
by the
yeah.
way,
Look, I
thank
got
you
one
for
box.
coming into
Yeah,
our
thanks,
nasty
Man,
practice
you know,
space.
my pleasure.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this.
That's like the
We're gonna
cleanest
hang
thing
out.
in here.
I'll hang out for
I
a
mean,
little
like,
bit.
if you looked at it and you came in here and you saw all these
No, it's
episodes, you'd
comfy.
think we were cooking meth.
It's comfy.
No,
With an A.
math, with an A.
With an A.
Yeah, math. Sorry, my accent got in the way again.
Oh, boy.
Oh, and that'll wrap right there. Here's C. Howe from Chemical Rose. Hey, you want to make the world a better place? Commit a random act of kindness to a complete stranger.
You see the problem arise. You see the shadow of mine. Can you say the truth for once in your life? I'm outnumbered by the truth in your life. See how I'm better than you. See how my God will watch you burn. Pick up, from the zero. I ain't got no time like you do. Pick up, from the stealing of the greatest of mine. You think you're better than I. You believe